All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Courtney Carroll. I'm your host today on Let's Talk About It with Courtney. I'm so excited for you to meet my guest. I've known Jasmyn for nearly, gosh, I want to say 6 years. Just
Yeah.
about, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, this is Jasmyn Moore. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist in both Virginia and North Carolina. We met each other at an amazing group practice in Raleigh called Awakenings. Shout out to them for teaching us and having a great experience over there. And because of them, we have stayed connected. And Jasmine's someone I really admire. And I'm so excited that like a month ago, I believe, I reached out to Jasmyn, who is an incredible mom, licensed therapist, wife, and she runs social media. She is in the midst of supervision training and all of these things, and she's making time for us. So I'm so excited. Welcome, Jasmyn Moore, to Let's Talk About with Courtney. Would you like to introduce more about yourself? I'm still getting new at this introducing guests on, but I'm just really excited to have you as we
Yeah.
just
No, just grateful to see your face and just so proud of you for doing what you're doing and inspiration to me for sure. And I just love the way that we support each other and, stay connected and root each other on. So I'm happy to be here and honored that you felt, that I could be of importance to your space. So
Jasmine and I just talked like very briefly about this, and just having someone to say they feel inspired by you when they inspire you is incredible. And I already have tears in my eyes. And God, again, Jasmine, I admire you so much. I've been so privileged to work in a very small group with her in our old group practice, where if you're familiar with the therapy world, we do licensed supervision, which means anyone that works with us and as an associate therapist, which is mean before you're fully licensed, you're practicing under someone else. And
Mhm.
just as we mentioned, awakenings. And I'm sure, Jasmyn, you've had other supervisors as well, I'm sure, right?
Yes. Yes.
And supervisors, for those that don't know, because we can't expect the average person to know how to get licensed. um, Basically, our clients sign a slip that lets us work with our supervisor and our group supervision group. So we have been able to see each other work before, which
Mhm.
is very rare. And I want to highlight very legal in case someone's getting a little crazy out there, because I can only imagine, like, you share our content. No, anyone I've ever seen and anyone she's ever seen has signed a paper that says that we can share it with only our supervision group. But
Mhm.
I just want to highlight that because I don't want our clients to be freaking out in case they find this content one day. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what the heck? um, so I have been privileged to watch Jasmyn practice, and especially at a younger Jasmyn. We were
Yeah.
associates when we met, and I've shared this story with Jasmyn just recently. And watching Jasmyn was working with a couple, which is already to me a different kind of work than individual.
Yeah.
And I was able to see Jasmyn use a room, watch body language, and work through a couple so beautifully. Like, I had like tears in my eyes. And one, I was like, gosh, this girl is incredible. I like I've used the word mesmerize, and I swear I don't use that word often. Anyone that knows me personally, but I remember thinking, we're the same like level. How? Like,
And I didn't know what I was doing yet, right? Like we're in there learning and stuff together. So, it's a very vulnerable place to be too, because you're picking apart, your work. And so it's vulnerable, but I think that's where connection happens too, and why, we do get so close with our supervisors and our group the other associates, because it is such a vulnerable space for us too. So,
yeah, gosh, I remember every time I had to show video, and this was like bi-weekly, weekly things that associates are required to do, just so the audience knows as well. It's not something we can say, oh, we're never going to show our especially our supervisor any content. They have
hmm
to make sure we're practicing under their license, and they're like they sign off on everything we do, so they have to know what we're doing in a room. But I remember almost wanting to throw up or be nauseous every time and wondering, I'm like, am I even good at this? was I meant to do this? I and it's so weird. You're never jealous or envious of someone, but I just remember you've always upheld this confidence, especially in a room,
Mhm.
and you're so calm. It's such a beauty. Still see it right now as I'm like looking at you. She's just calm and she's watching. And I'm like,
Uh,
they're fighting and she's just there calm.
Yeah, you don't see the internal. The internal could be freaking out, but we have
Yeah.
to hold it together. That's part of, you know, just and I'm even not afraid to say now, like just learning through that process, not afraid to tell clients if I'm feeling some anxious, because I think it helps them know like I'm with them in this. So now I'm not afraid to share that.
What a beautiful thing to bring up. I don't even think about this on being vulnerable with clients.
Hmm.
Like I remember in grad school, and I you went to a different college. Maybe you can share your college after I ask this question. I went to City University of Seattle, and when I was there, I was taught all the time. Don't really show your emotions. Don't really like. Don't cry. Don't you've got to hold it together in the room, or you don't need to let them know you're feeling a certain way. And then moving on and getting into like real therapy where we're hired in a group practice and we're being trained by some of the most incredible teachers that could ever teach us. Dr. Watson, I think of all the EFT instructors, the one that stands out to me the most is Dr. Hawk.
Yes.
And, oh, I kind of want to brag about him. I do. Dr. Hawk, he works for the Arkansas EFT, right, Jasmyn?
He is in Arkansas. Yeah, Little Rock? Is it Little Rock? I'm not sure the name, but yes, he is in Arkansas.
Oh my gosh, he's incredible.
Hmm.
Um, he was the first therapist, and this man is tall, black, strong, big guy. He walks in the room. We're in training, and he sits down and he's just relaxed, just like I was just talking to Jasmyn. Like she's just relaxed, and a couple starts getting there, and he has tears in his eyes at one moment. And
Mm.
it was the first time I've ever seen someone that one is a trainer
Yeah,
in that level crying. And were you in that training? I'm almost positive. Were
I
we? It
think so. Yeah.
was in
Hmm.
Raleigh.
Hmm.
Um, and by the way, he's there's George Fowler and different trainers too. The Arkansas community is amazing for emotion focused therapy. He's just the instructor that is standing out to me with emotion
Hmm.
right now.
Hmm.
So, and I remember asking him after, I was like, this whole time when I've been taught not to show emotion. And I remember crying in a session, and Caroline is a great supervisor at Awakenings as well. And she's like, that's good. They need to see it. But I didn't buy it because in grad school we were told never to talk about this. Like, don't have
Hmm.
these things. And I
Yeah.
reflected it back to Dr. Hawk, and he goes, Courtney, that's what makes you beautiful, like beautiful in the room, authentic in the room.
Yeah, human. Yeah.
So sorry on my tangent, but how has that changed you in your career? Is like knowing that you can be vulnerable. You can like not I don't even know if the word's normal, but just show up, have tears in your eyes because they're telling you these big things about them being vulnerable, opening up their hearts. And meanwhile, grad students that are listening to this are thinking, we can't cry. What do you think? I'm sorry, that was a tangent.
Yeah. No,
I love Dr. Hop.
I do too. Yeah. No, I've learned a lot from him. And I've even gotten to volunteer with the EFT community because he was like, "Your work is good. Please come be a volunteer."
I second it. I see what he sees.
So that was a pleasure to do. But I think what it's allowed me to do is not feel so much pressure because you do have all these like internal thoughts about, okay, I want to make sure I'm doing this, and they're, looking to me for X, Y, Z. But I think just being human and showing up authentically and not having to monitor like every single emotion, but just be authentic. And I think it's just taken off so much pressure to be and not be so robotic even.
Oh,
So for me, it's been freeing, I think.
love that. Because you were really, I'll speak for myself. Like it felt like you had to be like a robot almost. Like, you had like, and for anyone that does our work, I don't know how to explain it. I wish sometimes I could show my brain and how we map things out and where to follow because we've done so much training.
Hmm.
But I'm like, to monitor myself and my reactions on top of it, experiencing the experience, like it's so hard.
Yeah.
Almost like it would be a disservice not to do it now. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Especially when you have more than one person in the room. Like, can you imagine? Like, there's three different, like, if you're doing couples or families, three or four different
oh,
emotions and things going on. Like, how do you not feel?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna look at you like you don't feel nothing. Why
Right.
is your face that way?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
And it gives them permission too to feel, because I think they come in kind of guarded in a lot of ways too. So I think sometimes it also gives them permission to feel and unlock some things in them, I think.
I love that. Permission to feel. I've never seen it referenced that way. I can understand the concept, but I love the way you said that. I wrote it down. I was like, I gotta remember that. Like it's like I'm in a session. I'm like, note, remember. But it is. And I remember even seeing a client, she's a female. Oh my gosh, Jasmyn, it might be our segue, by the way. That was domestic violence and verbal abuse,
Yeah.
like bad verbal abuse. And she was just telling me these stories, and it was like she was in an outer body experience. And I have tears flowing down my eyes. And she goes, what's wrong?
Mm,
And I was like, well, that's tragic. Are you okay?
mm,
And I think even though she hired me, even though she booked the appointment, she's like, why would you ask me if I'm okay?
mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, do you understand? Like, that's abuse. And and it wasn't until I reflected the emotion and then floodgates come out.
Right.
And she's like, I wasn't able to like speak to that before. I
Yeah.
didn't know it was that,
Yeah.
especially in her. I've not seen this client in probably 5 years. We were able to get her to a really good spot. And I only wish her well. Obviously, we can't share clients' names, but I remember her realizing like having sex is not just one-sided. And
Yeah.
that, like, and coming from a like we come from strong training in sex therapy and emotion focused therapy, both of us. And I'm sure you expanded your career throughout the years as well, but she didn't know that sex was mutual, even though because she's like, well, I consented. And
Right.
and then there was a whole thing there, but it was until I showed emotion where
Mm,
she goes, something's wrong here.
yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
speak to that at all? Do you want to add anything? I didn't even mean to segue. How organic
Yeah.
is that?
That was perfect segue. But yeah, it's one of those things if until you're in it, and I think even removed out of it, it can be hard to see and hard to find the language for it. Because I think we're taught like abuse and it looks one way, like it's always physical or it's always like violent, but sometimes abuse is so subtle. I mean, it could be in the words, it can be in the manipulation and how you're taught to not trust yourself anymore. We've heard the word gaslighting. I mean, it could just be so subtle and it can even be financial, and people don't think about that either, there can be abuse in that. So if it can be, I think it could be in each category, right? Sexual, financial, emotional, physical, spiritual even.
Yeah.
So I just think it's not taught enough. And so as we're young and things we just don't know.
And not just taught enough, but expanded enough.
Expanded, yeah.
Yeah. And then as soon as you were saying, like you were saying it without the specific word, right? Like, you were like, I'm like so much with finances. I've seen clients over the years and everything. Like, well, how is that? He doesn't hit me. She
Mm,
doesn't like abuse me.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, can't leave the house. Like, you have to ask permission for funds. You have to do this. You're belittled all the time.
yeah,
You, your partner subconsciously or consciously embarrasses you or throws you under the bus whenever they can.
yeah.
But you're right, movies, TV, all that basically focuses on a physical abuse.
Physical, yeah.
It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I think adding more language to this topic makes I would assume it would connect with a lot of people because I know it would connect with our clients over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. We can dive in.
Yeah, let's dive in. I'll let you take the floor. Like you tell me, you've worked with a lot of domestic violence compared to me. As you know, as my friend, my colleague, and apparently a listener, which is amazing. I feel kind of honored. Um, like I've experienced more verbal or like not real, like gaslighting, like type of verbal where I didn't even know how bad certain things were in my first marriage until I was out of it. So I would
Mm-hmm.
love for you to expand on it because I want to, because you're right when you said you don't see much until you're out. I
Yeah,
it's wild sometimes on like
it is.
what you
Yeah.
don't see when you're in a relationship. And I think any partner of any relationship could agree with that. Like you don't until you're out, there's not perspective.
Yeah, there's not perspective and you're trying to survive, right? Like your brain is already and your body's already doing so much when you're in it. It's doesn't I don't think it has capacity always to process everything either. So, and then let alone like if you're isolated, from your family or your friends, you don't have any feedback or anything to kind of go off of but your own experience. So I
And
think
when
that
it's consistent, it just feels normal to an individual. When
yeah.
you say like if it's
Absolutely.
I almost want to say if it's all you know, but at that time in your life, it is all you know or you experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and I don't know what your experience in that was, Courtney, or like how far into your marriage or relationship that happened for you, but I think mine was unique in the sense of and this was a relationship with my daughter's father when I was, oh gosh, 18, 17, 18. And really the abuse didn't well, the physical abuse didn't happen until after I actually ended the relationship. So I think that part is maybe more unique because I think a lot of times it happens when you're still
And
inside.
for sure.
Yeah. But
At
I
least a lot of what people talk about, isn't.
right, right. A lot of what people talk about. But I didn't realize there was the emotional prep was going on before. Like I was actually kind of being groomed before
Wow.
um ending. So of course I was young, right? 17, 18. This person was actually an adult, so 10 to 12 years older than me, which didn't know at the time. So I was lied to already. So that was first
Wow.
manipulative tactic. Yeah. Um,
And
and
I
right,
would
there's no way to know that, right? Like what do? Look at their license?
license.
Right.
Look at
Like
your
what do you
license and registration, sir.
right. Yeah. And then thinking back, it was actually hidden because I do remember having a conversation about a license or an ID and it was purposely hidden or something. So now that I can think and I'm out of it, I can go back and be like, oh my gosh, I remember when that conversation happened. Um, so yeah, that was the first part was just manipulation and a power dynamic too, right? You got older person, adult, and I'm still 17, 18, like just out of high school. Um,
Yeah.
and so that it already started off with and I think I was flattered too, right? Like, oh, this person wants to know me and be with me. Like, who am I? Right?
Yeah. And older, even if you thought it was a
Yeah.
few years older, even though it was a lot more, like you're like, how cool is that? Like I'm special.
hmm
Something
Yeah, you absolutely think that, right? And then coming from an abandonment, in fatherhood in my childhood, you're almost looking for that, like somebody to see you and someone that's a little older that kind of knows their way around things. So I think that all kind of played into the beginnings of that.
it's so crazy how crazy our childhood impacts us
hmm
because I think we're so taught, especially the generation before us, to just get over it.
hmm
Or and I even still to this day will tell clients, I'm not talking shit about your parents. Like I'm sorry for the language, anyone. I when we go into parents and dynamics, especially if they have a positive relationship with their parent as an adult,
Yeah.
I'm not here to belittle them, but you did learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
And I know I did. Having a drug addict mom, emotionally, physically unavailable, um, and a dad that did the best he could with that.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm out of my marriage, I literally am like, of course I married someone that wasn't very emotionally available, or
hmm
had gone through different types of things in his childhood, which is his story ever to tell if he ever wishes to tell. None of our business, but I know why I picked him.
Mm,
I was used to like not being as emotionally available. And my experience was mostly about my weight and the size and wanting my image to be perfect
mm,
and and how that would make me feel. So I and it's I even want to belittle it right now because I'm so protective
mm.
of my daughter's dad. Of course I am, just like I'm sure you are. Like we're so cognizant of that. And
Yeah.
never to talk smack like at all,
Yep.
just our own lived in experience. But I remember even when I was at my smallest size thinking it was like I weighed 200 pounds when I was 135,
Mm.
and that messed me up.
Yeah. And I think it's so like I've been trying to think about because even as therapists, I don't have all the answers to everything, right? But
Totally.
to what you said of like, why do we experience this in childhood and why do we end up like picking the same? Like you almost feel like, well, if I know this or if I know that I come from this, why would I still choose? But I think you even said it of like it's this familiarity. Like the brain just knows like it goes to the thing that does feel familiar
Absolutely.
and we don't even think twice that it's the same pattern that we're walking right into. But
When you learn like that is love as a kid, because we love like you
hmm
as a kid, like even science and research could back us up easy, like especially 5 and under. We love our parents. We're born to love them and unconditionally love them. And then that's obviously expanded in childhood. So when you're not used to being loved in a healthy way,
hmm
it's familiar. Like, why would I not?
hmm
And like I think we were talking earlier, like repeat it or repair it. And I think we repeat it until we understand that it needs a repair.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
17 years old, I met my ex-husband at 21, but like my 17ish, like that was such a learning, like it's settling for like because I didn't know.
hmm
It felt so good. It felt so normal. I'm like, what are
Yeah,
you talking about that this isn't healthy?
yeah.
Like,
And I'm trying to think of what's the quote I say to my clients all of the time about the brain would rather have something familiar, like it doesn't recognize. Um, oh, it'd rather have bad connection than no connection. So I think sometimes even if we know like there may be a little something like not quite right in that or not quite healthy, it's connection. It's the thrill of those intense feelings and emotions, and our brain would just rather have any connection, even if it's bad, negative, not healthy. That's just kind of how we're wired until we train it to do, to do otherwise or to break certain patterns or to rewire it. That's kind of what it's designed to do, to just because it's efficient, right? The brain is efficient.
if an audience member is listening to us right now, or one of our clients or whoever is listening, and they said, how long would it take to rewire that? What would you
Mm.
say?
Oh, the rest of your life now.
Oh
Well,
my God, you guys.
look, I just feel like we're constantly evolving and learning new things. So I feel like it's like an ever-going process, really. So if it's one part that you've rewired, okay, that doesn't mean that there's not more somewhere else in a different part or a different area. So I don't know. I just feel like that's an ongoing process.
Yeah, I just feel like that would be one of our first sessions with someone to say like, how long do you think this would take?
Mm,
Because rewiring, we can work with the first and see the presenting problem, right?
hmm
Usually that relationship they're in, and we can rewire some of that, but then we have to go all the way back. Like
Right.
when I visualize in my head, and I do it so often, like a brain, I'm like, there's so many more strings that got there. We might have cleared that one, but we were like, ding, 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 ding,
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I get it because again, I would have never known. When did things start changing for you? Because you're 17 and you have your daughter pretty early, if I recall right, too.
Yeah. 18.
Whew. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when did you start? You said like you didn't. There was lies. You didn't know how old he was. Like, and when did you know to leave? Like, tell me more.
So I think so after having her, she was probably 5 or 6 months in is when I started realizing there were some jealousy tendencies. I started noticing I was isolated from my family, my friends. There would be negative talk about my family or that they're the ones controlling me or having control over my life. And I was in college still at this time too. So I was trying to multitask with being a college student and a mom, a new mom, and a partner. And then when I started seeing like them rearranging their lives, like stop going to work and yeah, like different things like that in order to be around, right? Or in order to not have other obligations so that there would be
I,
space, right? What else? So yeah, I think once I started noticing that and like just not feeling like myself either. I just felt like a dimmed down version of myself. I was not happy. I don't even know if I was eating well or properly at the time. Um, uh, I'm trying.
what was like the final string? What made you decide like no more? Or was it just all of it?
That's the part that's kind of hazy because I think as when you're going through abuse, I think you almost lose parts of your memory, or maybe it's repressed parts of your memory. So some stuff is a little hazy. So I'm still like piecing things together even today. Um,
Oh my
I
gosh.
think I think final straws was when my daughter started being used as a pawn, right? Like
Oh,
well,
no,
if
yeah.
I have her this day and you get her that day, or um cheating
Was this
allegations.
after the relationship or was this before?
This is still, well, that was more so after. So, okay, now I'm remembering. Now
You're
that
good.
my memory's
I'm
coming
here to
back. So,
clear the hazy with you.
yes,
You are
yes,
with
yes.
me.
Yes, thank you for being patient with me as I'm
Always.
clearing through
Always.
that. So actually that's what it was. It was the cheating. It was the infidelity that kind of made me say, all right, this is the pattern and I can't do this anymore, especially when it came with the lying. Like if I'm finding things or if women are texting me or if I'm seeing marks on you or
Yeah.
people are harassing me. Like that's my straw. People should not know my daughter. It's
Yeah.
so it just became too much and too many lies and I couldn't understand what it was. There was no conversation or communication about is there something lacking in the relationship or is there something that's making unhappiness somewhere that we're not discussing? But there were no conversations like that. It was just infidelity. And then now I know that it was a pattern. It's a pattern way
Yeah.
before me. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that was my last straw was, yeah, I'm not continuing to deal with this.
And I think this is my experience. I had a lot of infidelity in my relationship, as you know. And it wasn't until I had Hazel that where I
Mm,
was like, yeah, no, I can't teach her this.
yeah.
And because you had your daughter so young, I wonder if that even let you come out of your body a little bit. Like I use like a turtle shell method sometimes. I even do see me like do it with my
Hmm.
body. It's so weird. That I remember thinking like, this is bad, this sucks. And here it is again. It got like 5, 6 plus times that I know of now with people reaching out and all these
Yeah.
but then I was like, oh, shit, I have a daughter.
Right.
I can't repeat it anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't even have to hear what you want to do about it because I don't trust it. Because if you do it once, you do it twice, like
Yeah.
um gosh, I think of what a gift, even though you experienced so much from it to leave him at that point. So what was it like
Mhm.
after you left with you said pawning and everything with your daughter?
Yeah. So once I decided that enough was enough and I didn't want to continue to be embarrassed and just lied to, and like you said, wanting to protect her as well. Um, it then once I separated, I moved out because I had moved in and everything. I mean, I actually I went away to college and ended up coming back um
Yeah.
to this a different city, so my home city. But yeah, so I had kind of rearranged some of my life too a little bit. Moved
Yeah.
in, and then yeah, once I was done, moved back out, moved back in with my parents. And that's when the we had to start splitting the custody. And you don't have any real arrangements at the time when you're first starting out. We weren't married or anything. So it was kind of
Which
like
I think could be harder.
it can be because there's like who's involved, who's keeping you accountable for those things, right?
Worse, like you have to do a custody agreement. You have to do these things. And you're
Yeah.
so much younger. I was in my 30s. Please keep going. I'm like, I can't even imagine how
Yeah.
old I was.
Yeah, and no resources, right? Like I don't think I
Yeah.
was working quite yet, so I didn't have resources. So I think in that way, that's where the financial pieces would
Yeah.
come in of abuse because I just didn't have resources to really fight anything or to barely leave if it wasn't for my parents being there. Um so yeah, I think once I moved out and he still wanted to be together, would beg and all those things. And when he didn't get what he wanted, it was like, well, I'll use her. I'll keep her because I know you have to come to me to get her, right?
Oh my God.
So yeah, so that's when it started to be like, well, I'll have her, I'll keep her for 3 weeks and or I'll keep her for months and you won't see her. And that part was probably what tore me up the most. Aside from the abuse, but more
Yeah.
so just missing moments with her. Because there's really a lot of things I don't remember about the baby phase, of her. Just so much was happening, so many things were missing, pieces I didn't get to be there for. So,
And you were literally in survival
yeah.
in it. It's
Mhm.
so wild.
Yeah.
And of course it's foggy, by the way. Of course it is. Because like newborn stage is hard in general,
Right.
not having all that other stuff. Like
Sleep
there's so many,
deprived. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like,
All the things.
I didn't have Hazel until my early 30s, and I still don't remember pieces. So I can't even imagine. And the fact that you're managing that, gosh, when you said financial and kids pawning, I don't think people talk enough about that. Like that's
Mm,
why I literally named my podcast like Let's Talk
yeah.
About It. Because even as experienced therapists, I've been in this field for nearly a decade, right? Between training and school and everything. And I would assume as you. And people don't talk about that, pawning your children.
Yeah.
Maybe they do privately, but like I rarely have heard about it. And
Yeah.
then financially, especially in your position as a stay-at-home mom or student like you were,
Hmm.
this is going to help a lot of people, I think. Anyone
Yeah.
who hasn't been experienced with that before. How did you, as it's foggy and you're getting out, how did you manage that? Did that influence who you are today or like where the work you do? Like tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, as far as managing, I honestly couldn't tell you how I was doing it because I was still in school and everything. Like I didn't take any breaks. I did not stop. As soon as I got out into my parents' home, I had to find a job because they're like, "Hey, we don't mind helping you, but you gotta, you're an adult now. You have a child. You gotta provide." So, I mean, I had to work and still go to school. And I think I just told myself I have to keep going. Like if nothing else, it's just for my daughter. Like I can't not keep going. So there was never a point where I said I need to stop or I can't do this. I just had to keep going. But she really is the motivation for a lot of that, I think. So that was, I think, how I managed. But looking back, it was a lot. I don't really know how I was doing it. And I don't think I failed any classes or anything. So I really
I
don't know.
doubt it because it probably grounded you as much as you could be grounded to have that to be
Yeah.
focused on because you had no focus on what you can control, right? How many times do we say that? The
Right.
uncontrollables, even gosh, if anyone's identifies as believing in God, even God says like you can't control the
Mm-hmm.
uncontrollable,
Mm-hmm.
but you can control what you
Do
can.
what
This
you
is in front
can.
of you. You're like, I'm in school, and when I do have my daughter, I'm going to be the best mom I can. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I can do. I can't control that guy, and if
Yeah.
I do, it would break me
Mm-hmm.
if I tried to let that in. What am I going
Mm-hmm.
to do? Fall apart? I'm a mom. I don't
Right. No, I can't. Yeah,
afford
I
it.
can't afford to do that. Yeah, there's
It's
no
like
problem.
people always ask, how did you become resilient? And I'm not a big fan of that word, by the way. I'm like, through burning and going through hell.
Yeah,
And I don't think it's resilient. I think it's survival.
it
How did I
is.
survive? There was no option. I have a daughter, just like
Yeah.
you. What was the other option? Giving in?
Yeah. Giving up. We both don't have what we need. She does no, there was not options.
Crazy how that happens.
Yeah. But I think mothers, that's what makes mothers and parents some of the strongest
Yeah.
of people. Just you do whatever you have to.
Yeah. There's no options. And
Yeah.
we hear a lot more mom stories, and like my dad, he's incredible, but and he had to escape a relationship, but it is rare, but there are some great dads out there that
Hmm.
but I've worked with them. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
seen, but it's amazing like when there's no other option, and as long as you can view it as there's no other option too.
Hmm.
And I think that is the strength of our childhood, going through abandonment and everything. There was no other option for us to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
So we
so right.
survived with what we could,
Yeah.
which
And
means taking love where we can get it.
mhm. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. And, I don't know how much of your audience is spiritual, but I do come from a Christian background.
Yeah.
And I think that's going through this also has helped me understand God, I think, a little bit better too, because he's a parent, right, to us. So I think it helped me understand more of that unconditional love that you have for your children and how you do anything for them the same way that he died for us, right? And was willing to
Yeah.
go through all the pain and suffering for one of us if
Yeah.
it needed to be. So I think it's helped me put into perspective too, like, wow, that's how much God cares and loves for me, the same way that I would do for my own kid, right?
Yeah.
So,
And I think using, and I always say this, so this isn't about you by any means. Like if you don't resonate with Jasmyn's identity and what she believes in, fill in what you do.
yeah.
But what I love is when she says God, and like I sometimes even use the word source with some clients, because if we have to respect what they believe in,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
the fact that there's a source within you that gives you that, what a
Hmm.
gift. That love and that empowerment, like you are loved. And I've not, I personally, I've experienced multiple religions. I'm sure you have in our, and it, and to me, it's so similar in some of the language. You are loved, like,
Hmm.
and you will get through this. I will hold you through it.
Hmm.
And whether someone says universe, spirit, God, all the things, Buddha, like, you know, but using it as a strength. And then sometimes I even think we need the higher power to know that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the fact that it pillared you, anchored you, and got you through that, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I feel like that is the source of our being is to be loved, to be seen, to be known. I think that's part of our just creation and being. So no wonder we go looking for that or searching for that. If we
Yeah.
don't have it or if we're abandoned, without it, we go looking for that because I think that's just at the core of our
Yeah.
being to be known and loved and seen.
Yeah. And sometimes people find that. I've recently explored this with a couple of my coaching clients, actually. They would attest to this too, is no one can be source. No one can fulfill everything for you. No one can be God. No one can, and expecting that from partners. And I'm sure you've seen some of this in couples therapy over the years. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot to ask of someone. You will be my rock. You will be my shield. You will be my
Hmm.
protector. You will be my financial person. You will be this. You will be that.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that's heavy.
It is. It is.
But
And
the
it's
fact
not,
that, go ahead, sorry.
no, I was gonna say it's not possible. We're flawed beings, right? That has to come from a perfect place,
Yeah,
I feel, in
yeah.
order to embody all those things. So,
And I think in my relationship with that, as I'm like processing it live with you, of course. So I told you it feels like therapy sometimes. Um, I thought I had to be source. I felt like sometimes I had to be so forgiving and do this and, confusing what I think God would ask me to do
mm,
and what I should have not done, like staying in a marriage, staying in a relationship that constantly cheated and lied to me,
mm,
because I'm like, well, I'll show him love. Like that was a real thought for me at one point, being raised
mm,
Christian and being raised in a very strict home.
yeah.
Um, and I'm like, that is not love, and that's not what God would want from me. But that took me a long time to do that cognitive reframe, that rewiring,
Mm.
to be like, why did I think that was my job? By the
Yeah, to love them into their healing or
what
something. Yeah,
exactly?
yeah.
That even affects dating, by the way. Like, I'm like,
I
as
can
soon as I
imagine.
get that clip of like, I need someone to help me grow, I'm like, oh, not me. I'm out. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, people do need to do their own work too for
Yes.
that.
So
Yeah.
as you navigated your own work and you're seeing what he was doing in the ponds and you're surviving school, like what made you, I mean, I'm assuming at 17, 18, you didn't know you were going to be a therapist yet, or did you?
Yeah, I knew that pretty
You
early
knew?
on. Yeah. I knew that probably back in high school. High school.
Really?
Yeah, when I took my first psychology class, I was like, "Oh, this is fascinating. Like the
I love
brain and like human behavior, this is fascinating." So yeah, I knew that from early on. So I went into college already with my psych major um ready to go. Yeah.
So did you know what kind you were going to do? Because I feel like my life shaped what I do now.
I think I did always lean into the marriage aspect because
Yeah,
I so desperately wanted to heal or provide a space for the parents, so that the children didn't have to grow up in broken homes and different things
yeah.
of that nature. So I think that was kind of where my basis came out of. But I think after going through what I did with the abuse, then I think I leaned more into like, oh, I kind of want to work with women that, have struggles with their self-esteem or with their attachments to where, it may open doors for abuse or maybe just not knowing yourself enough to know what you deserve or what treatment is coming toward you. So I think it did shift a little bit, but still isn't completely what I'm doing now. So I think it's constantly still evolving.
I think it's so cool that you knew. I remember thinking I knew that. I remember thinking about social work specifically because of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, when you're in high school, y'all, no one knows about grad school and that there's so many options to pick:
Oh yeah.
clinical, marriage and family,
Mhm.
social, school counselors. Someone thought I could be a school counselor, and I thought that was so funny. I was like, let me explain it to you. It's very different.
You're great with kids.
I love kids, and I totally thought I was going to work with kids. And I don't know if you know this about me. It wasn't until my internship in grad school where I knew I was going to do marriage and family. I thought I'd be working with kids for sure because I would have
Mhm.
loved to have that experience as a kid, to have someone help me that knew what I went
Yeah.
through. Like I think that, and I think you resonate with that, by the way.
Absolutely.
Like shit, I need help these kids because I didn't have that. I didn't have anyone that goes, I've been there. I know what this is like.
Hmm.
And I'm sitting across, gosh, I remember a 4-year-old. And
Hmm.
why is he in therapy? He was sweet. We were playing games and talking. And then I met his parents. And And then I started doing couples work and I didn't even know what I was doing. So I ended up like one session with him, one session with a couple. And I realized I'm like, if I'm going to save kids, I have to save marriages.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not the kids that are in dysfunction. It's the environment that they're in. It's the relationships they're a part of. So you kind of got to heal in that area, not down up.
It's so environment is to me just as strong as genetics,
Hmm.
if not stronger, just
Hmm.
like culture is. You
Yeah,
can be born in whichever body that God gives you. Um, but at the same time, like your experiences and people around you shape you.
yeah.
Um, so I would have never known, even in grad school, like how big of an influence parents were because I wasn't trained yet to
Right.
experience it.
Yeah.
And it felt like common knowledge, but I was like, I remember going to my advisor, his name's Michael, and I was like, I think I have to switch to couples and marriage. And I knew I wanted to work with couples, but I really wanted to work with kids too.
Yeah.
And because I was focused on military couples because my ex was military. And I was like, now I think I'm gonna have to tell parents. I think I need to learn this more. And he just started laughing. He's like, and now you know, because he worked with the foster juvenile court and everything.
Yeah. No, you'll figure it out quickly that you need parent involvement. Like I actually have colleagues that will not see children alone. They have to come in with the parent because they're part of the dynamic.
That's, that
Hmm.
that's gosh, what we would have known or what I would have known younger, I'll speak for myself. Like,
Yeah.
but and I didn't even know I was doing it, by the way. I think that's the funniest thing is like when I'm like, oh, let's talk next because they would want to be involved. But he was 4, and I have a ton of clients from like 4 to 18, but I remember I'm like, I didn't even know I was doing couples and family work.
Hmm.
I was doing couples and family.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think it's so lovely about systems work.
Yes.
versus just because we're all a part of some system. Even when we see individuals, we're still talking to them about their relational aspects with others. So they never come in just in a vacuum by themselves. So I think that's what's beautiful about having the systems work training that we do have, especially with emotionally focused therapy and attachment, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I remember minimizing attachment theory in school and not really understanding it as much because it wasn't, as you know, I'm from like the Seattle area for my education. So the Gottman method was very well trained. I've met the Gottmans. I was trained level one with the Gottmans, and um, it's more research based, of course,
Mhm.
which I will never talk about. They've got great content and their research is incredible and impactful to the field we're in. And I do think the science and they have games and cards. I do think they all work and I've used them,
Mhm.
but I never, and I remember the Dr. Sue Johnson book that Hold Me Tight that we're very familiar with.
Yeah.
That was on a recommended list. It
Yeah.
wasn't even like required. And it's like, it shaped my whole career now that we've been trained in it. Um, and I would assume you too, because I've seen you do EFT at like what we talked at the beginning of this time. Like I've seen you go into that room with clients and use emotion focused therapy. It,
Yeah, that was a new like you, that was a new theory for me. You touched on it slightly in grad school, but that was a new, completely new like worldview for me. But I fell in love with it because I think it did resonate. I think it does resonate with something in you that understands attachment and needs attachment. And I think even in the religious space, like I think it just connects with that source and having that, higher power connection. So there's connection all around. So that theory, I think, just spoke to me and I
yeah.
fell in love with it. So,
And this isn't, I can't speak this into every case is like this, but I do think for people that don't know much about EFT, we break down the emotion. We go into what's really going on, and it usually is a younger version of us, whether that's a kid or a younger adult. It's very beautiful to see. And just as Jasmyn and I have been talking about, is where did we learn to like date and marry and have these people? Jasmyn touched on like you touched on your dad abandoning you, and I've touched on my mom abandoning me, and we had blended family stuff and maybe you did too. And
yeah.
where did I learn that? And it starts with that inner child,
Mhm.
which is crazy. Like I would have never known that in grad school, like to go that low and be like,
Yeah.
and almost like I'll use this in therapy all the time actually, where I'll ask a client to go back to their first memory of it. I'll break it down into like a 30-second meditation to bring them and ground them. And
Hmm.
I'm like, so when did you learn that? How old are you? Gosh,
Yeah.
what Dr. Hawk did, by the way. I'm just like, it's wrong in my head right now. And I remember being very young and being like, my mom's leaving me. Like she's truly choosing to go. And
Mhm.
that's supposed to be the one person I can count on. And I just remember really like when my stepmom came into my life, who I refer to as mom. That's what I say to clients all the time. Like I do call her mom. I don't even think I don't have a dead mom when I say,
Hmm. Hmm.
I remember like just trying to prove my love and just wanting her love so bad because I didn't have it. And
Yeah.
then I go into, oh, and I married someone. I had to prove my love and work through
Mhm.
this. And sometimes that when I go to the meditation, I'm like, let's picture that girl. Can you see her? What do you see? What's she wearing? Where's she at? And then
Mhm.
I bring the to point, what would you want to say to them?
Mhm.
And then I said, would you like to give them a hug? And what would adult you say to them?
Mhm.
And it gives me like chills when I say it. And I had to tell her, we do something with this. You wait and see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We help people. And then I envision the younger me being excited and like, so I'm not going through this for nothing, and then I bring the client back up to being an adult and ground them and bring them in present moment. But it is amazing how young it starts to where we pick these relationships and
Yeah.
what we learn and how it shaped us, even though we minimize most of it because it was so normal. What do you think? Is that weird? Like,
No, I'm like, I was sitting here like, okay, therapy with me, Courtney, please, because I'm like, this is what her work looks like. And I think it's probably so powerful. And I can imagine so rewarding in a sense for you to be in those spaces with people as they go to those places, because those places are scary sometimes to go
so
to.
scary. And
Um,
I only reference mine because I feel safe to do so with because you're with me right now. I don't know if I could have done that on my own because I do record a lot on my own or with someone else. I do want to say I'm honored to share that with you because it is hard to show you where you're vulnerable.
absolutely.
And we are, have you ever heard of like the thing where we're all a bunch of like 7 or 8 year olds in our bodies and sometimes how we deal with things?
Hmm.
Do you
Hmm.
subscribe? What do you think?
Yeah, I've heard that idea of like you're only as like old as your where your trauma started or something like
Yeah,
that. And to a degree, I do believe that. I think there is a younger part of us that does get stuck there. And that's where
yeah,
we are until we can meet ourselves there, right? Meet those that part of ourselves with our older self. So yeah, I do subscribe
yeah.
to
Such a weird way. Do you subscribe? Do you like that?
that.
But as soon as that part's healed, I like the next session I go into is like, where's the next time you learned that? And
Hmm.
mine was 12, 13 years old. And so I go back to my teenage self. And so
Hmm.
it's several sessions
Right.
to do that. But it has changed my life in a way. I'm like I can't ever be in a relationship again where it's not where it shows me any signs. I've left a marriage,
Yeah.
I've broken off an
Ugh.
engagement. I dating is not you're my friend too. So dating's like I'm like you I pick up things very quickly now that I wouldn't have picked up when I
Oh
was,
yeah.
you know?
And I hate to say it, but I think there's a guard there too, in a sense. I mean, I hate to say that because we want to feel like, oh, I'm so healed and this, but I think there's still that part of us that's like vowed to ourselves, I will never be put back there again.
Absolutely. And not even come at like that comes up with me even with co-parenting and in dating or relationships, just like I'm like, I am not gonna do this again, you
Hmm.
know? And that's something I'm actively working on. I'm like,
Oh
the
yeah.
guard's up and I'm safe. I don't need the guard, you know?
Hmm.
So I love that you said that because it does feel like that. And sometimes I have to remember, I call it a half wall now,
Hmm.
where I can lower it or bring it back. But no
Hmm.
matter what, I can see over it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
whereas when I was younger or right after divorce, my wall's like, gosh, the Great Wall of China, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I'm like, it's like a half wall, and I'm just above it, and as long as I can like tuck under it, I'm good.
I like to think of mine as like a fence almost, and or a gate where I can unlock it and lock it if I choose. I can
Oh
still
my
see
God.
over it and through it. I can still see all that, but it does have bounds, right? It has limitations to keep safe what's inside, which is sacred, right?
On my life, I swear to this. I'm dying inside. I talk about boundaries and I teach clients that is a fence around your yard.
Oh yeah.
You are the gatekeeper.
Yep. Yep. Me too.
And I didn't even know that we both did that.
Yeah.
I like got chills. I'm like, how funny.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause it's so
and
relatable.
like
Yeah.
you have to have boundaries. How did you before we end, we're probably about 10 minutes away from probably needing to wrap up. I could talk to you forever.
Yeah. Here, you got me.
Where did you start putting your fence up with your ex? When did that start changing with you? Where when did I don't want to say the abuse end,
Yeah.
but where would you say like you needed these to evolve, like go past that survival part that you were living in through school? Like can you
Yeah.
speak to that at all?
Well, I needed help first, so it had to kind of go the legal way. So restraining order. I needed help. There was no other, like until I could get physical safety, I couldn't think about what other types of boundaries I may have needed. So I just needed to know that I was gonna be okay from day to day. So that I had to get help with that legally. So a restraining order, and then if there was drop-offs, there needed to be somebody present, or maybe it was in front of a safe space, like a police department or a grocery store,
Yeah.
or whatever, or if someone was with me, but it couldn't just be alone. So that was kind of the start of some of those boundaries. And then eventually, you get into your emotional boundaries with and your access to me. Like, hey, you're not gonna call me at all these times a day, or if you're gonna be rude and belligerent and belittling, we won't talk that day. Or
That
so
one's hard to do, by the way,
it
especially
is. No, it's not easy.
especially when you're co-parenting.
Absolutely, because that's the pawn, right? Well, you have to
Yeah.
talk to me because you have my child, right? So yeah, it does get really tricky and difficult, but consistency, I think, is what helps with that. The more you can be consistent, you learn to trust yourself again, because that part is so broken, I think, once you've been lied to and you've been told your thoughts and your feelings aren't important or they don't matter or they're not real, you have to start trusting yourself again. So that consistency with those boundaries is what I think helped to rebuild.
Yeah. And I just want to highlight for anyone's like, how do I create that consistency? It's the hardest. Boundaries are the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It brought me to therapy. It brought me into this world. So it's okay if they fall down. Like I still mess up with boundaries. I still
Yeah.
sometimes emotionally react even to my ex, and
Yeah.
especially when I'm just so protective of my daughter and what she may or may not be experiencing, and I have no control
Yeah.
when she's gone. I
Yeah.
so anyone that goes, how do you do that? We're two therapists over here. Um, it's consistent effort. I still
Hmm.
therapist. I still work on it. I saw my therapist yesterday. I just because you drop the ball one week doesn't mean you can't put it back up. Fences
Right.
break all the time.
Hmm.
We rebuild.
There
There
you go.
I
Hmm.
remember at my old house when my ex-husband had a house out here in Washington. Um, it's a funny story. He had just deployed, and we call it like Murphy's Law when things fall apart when the partner leaves. And by the
Hmm.
way, Jasmine's married to someone that travels a lot for work. So she's gonna know exactly what I think I'm talking about Murphy's Law. They leave and
Hmm.
something goes wrong,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
And there was one time when he just left maybe 2 or 3 days and our entire fence fell down.
Oh no.
And uh, it's but it's a beautiful metaphor if you think about it. Like you can rebuild. My brother-in-law came out that day. My dad checked it out. My friends helped me rebuild it. And that's
Hmm.
exactly what I love to say to people is you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like you said, I could have never done it alone.
Yeah.
It
Amen.
sounds like, I know your parents sound incredible. I know
Amazing.
private information that we've talked about and how they've supported you. Um, can't like your family, your close friends.
Hmm.
Um, and if you're able to, and I hope everyone's able to, because there's so many resources out there, is then get help maybe from a professional. Like I said yesterday, I was in therapy. Like I had a hard week. I saw my therapist. I had to build my fence again. And
Yeah.
just like the fence out in our Spanaway house, fences are rebuilt. Not alone though.
Hmm.
So if you fall off, do you want to add anything? I think that's an important concept.
No, it is. Community is so important. And at the time, because I was so isolated, I didn't have a lot of community left. I was told to kind of separate, and I can't hang out with this person. So my parents really were the ones that were there. But eventually having to rebuild my community. And unfortunately, your community does sometimes does get part of that abuse too, which makes it difficult because even my parents had to go through some of their things being properties damaged and different things. So I think we don't also talk about how that can expand out to your community too, which makes it difficult. But those that,
And the guilt that comes with it. I call it the ripple effect. I
yeah,
think through a lot of stuff too.
absolutely.
Like,
But
it's hard.
yeah, but there are resources. There absolutely are. There are places that will let you drop your kids off and have a safe place to do drop-offs. There are circles of women that deal with like co-parenting. There's therapy for co-parenting. Like
Yeah.
therapy doesn't have to be for couples and marriage, and it can be for co-parenting specifically. So there's resources. I think there was just so much I didn't know about all of the resources out there too.
And something that just like came to mind when you were saying that, like the co-parenting. Whenever I meet a couple and they come see me, they've been married, gosh, some of them 30 plus years, right? And everything. And I'm working with them. So the person that maybe might be a little less invested, um, I do like, I'm like, well, I have no hope that this will get better. And they have kids, and I literally say, would you,
Mhm.
either way, this work will help you because even if we decide next week this marriage is over, we can work together and have you create a good co-parenting relationship.
Mhm.
I would love to do that type of therapy with my ex. Like, forget all this
Yeah.
stuff. Like, let's do this. And Uh, do you do something similar with couple? Like there are options. There is your marriage gets better. There is divorce. And what do
Mhm.
we want to do about that co-parenting relationship? And
Yeah.
some of us don't have partners would want to. Um, then that's when you do it on your own, right?
Yeah.
Like I hope that
Absolutely.
makes sense. I just remember
No, it
thinking,
does.
yeah,
No, it does. There are resources out there. And I've had that happen where I've worked with a couple and they've come to the conclusion that the marriage isn't going to work, but they still want to see me because I know their story already. It feels safe. And they want to work through co-parenting and separating, amicably. So that's
yeah,
absolutely an option.
yeah. It's some of the best work I think I've done is doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It, and it's so funny how we like not hide it away. What did you say earlier? Like sometimes we repress it, like not in a
Yeah,
bad way all the time, but that's when I think back about several clients. Because one, it's hard to watch a client couple break up
it is.
when
Yeah.
you have also invested so much of your time and energy. And that took, for those new therapists out there, a while for us to get over. I'm glad you're nodding because I'm like, I want to just speak for both of us.
Yeah.
And because then sometimes we think we failed them and it has nothing to do with us. And I think as stronger, more confident,
Hmm.
licensed therapists that are not associates, I've learned to put my pride away on that one. And I think you have too, if I were to guess. Because this has never been about us. I sometimes consider someone as a mediator or a translator in couples work and or a land navigator to try to get them together.
Hmm.
But some of the most meaningful work is helping them learn to co-parent after the decision to
Absolutely.
divorce. And gosh, I wish my parent, like, I mean, totally different marriage, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm
No.
like, that would have been so nice to have.
I agree. I wish, and that's what I try to be, right? Is that therapist that could have been there for the little girl that needed the
Oh,
somebody to work with their parents, or for that, the couple that needed to help co-parent. So, I want to be that for what, I didn't have that I didn't know was available even at the time. So, yeah, I
and I
think.
have goosebumps telling you, you do it. That girl would be so freaking proud of you. She would be telling you something along the lines of, so this wasn't for nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
we do something with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she'd be so proud
Oh yeah.
that she survived and made it. And then, even though it was a long road, she helps people with it because she felt so helpless. I know I
Mm-hmm.
did as a kid. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
would say to myself too.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like your inner child can be your biggest cheerleader too.
Absolutely. Yes. And you can be there for it, right? Like even as a adult, you can be there, where no one else can go. You
Yeah,
you can be there. So
yeah.
you don't
It's
have to abandon yourself, right? And I tell that to my clients all the time. You got to be the one to show up for you. So if
yeah,
anybody's gonna be there, it's you.
yeah. And it's so interesting as we wrap up. It's like if you believe in God, yes, that is your savior, 100%. If you don't, you are your savior, not someone else. Putting that on someone else
Mm-hmm.
is it's dangerous and it usually doesn't end well. And just as Jasmyn's told us her story, and Jasmyn, like, thank you for sharing your story,
Yeah.
is she could have fallen apart early as a young mom and felt trapped and experienced abuse and ongoing trauma with her ex. And Lord knows what you've been through since, and um, you've literally paved your way to get to this point in life to do the work you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it like a calling. And I received the calling card when I experienced this as a kid, and now I do the
Mm-hmm.
now as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
and almost like advocacy a little bit too,
Yeah.
right? Like because we are speaking for young people now. Um, it's just a privilege to see your story unfold and sharing with my audience, coming in to let's
Yeah.
talk about it with Courtney. It's so weird saying that when I'm in the room with someone. Talk about it with me. But I think people are going to really gravitate to your story, hear what we've talked about, and it's just an honor to be your friend and your colleague. And
Yeah.
I love
Likewise.
watching your career progress. I think people tend to try to, we learned early in our career that people are competitive with it. Jasmyn and I, you can tell me if I'm getting this wrong, of course. That's the therapy comment, right? Um, we have built a community with women where I knew I could reach out to Jasmyn. We support our career. We are not in competition together. I want her practice and her life to thrive
Yeah,
much as I think you want mine to thrive. There,
absolutely.
there's enough to go around for everyone, and especially when we all have our niches and our experience,
Hmm.
we all do it differently. But I love the way you showed up for me. I love the way you weren't even resistant. You're like, I'm going to make this work. And I'm just really grateful for you to be here. I mean that with my whole heart.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you thought of me because, again, I think that heals a part of me that hasn't been seen, right? So for you to see me and then say, hey, your voice is valuable. Oh, I'm not gonna cry, Courtney.
I'm going to cry.
Hmm.
Oh man,
Yeah, that means
it
a
is so valuable. And I
lot.
look up to it so much. And
Yeah.
I remember it sounds so silly. I'm like, I hope I get to be as good as her. The young moment that I started this whole thing with. Um,
And
because
you
it's
are, your voice is so powerful and so beautiful. So you should be so proud of that.
you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there anything you want to leave on the table before we stop
Yeah.
recording? Do you
Uh,
want to share any, maybe share with the audience how to find you? Because,
um,
um, or I can always tag it
yeah.
in.
Yeah, please tag it in because my socials are they're not easy to remember. So please tag them. Yeah, if anyone wants
The
to reach
biggest
out.
thing is a new thing therapy. And one thing
Yes.
Jasmyn has that I think is different, and she's gonna like stop bragging about me or stop doing this. She creates content like no one else I've seen in real life experiences, especially on her TikToks. And again, a new thing therapy, and I will tag all of your socials, of course. And you actually show people what to do or how to act it out, and the lessons you've learned, and I don't know how you create it because it's beautiful and divine, I think. Um, but I see it and I can see how I can apply it. And I don't always see that in content.
Okay.
So I'm so excited to share your content. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And audience, if you have any questions for Jasmyn, please leave them in the comments. I'm going to tag her social media. She's licensed in Virginia, North Carolina. She has amazing content. I believe her tag is a new thing therapy. And it is a new thing therapy because therapy has not been done like this before. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Courtney.
Of course.